Good morning. I'll try not to keep you asleep, okay, during this homily. So if you're napping, that's okay too. Last Sunday or Saturday evening after the 4 o'clock Mass, I was here at church greeting people, and some kids were here gathering in this area looking at the creche. But this particular boy is about 3-year-old kid. I won't name the name because you will know him, and the parents and the grandparents. So he said, "Father," he was just pointing something in here. Not the baby Jesus, not Mary, not Joseph, but the sheep, and also the shepherd, especially pointing the shepherd with the stick or the staff. And he said to me, "This image looks like my grandfather." Oops, what do you mean? He thought that was a cane, so that was association. And for this kid, I love the way they think, the way they move, because they associate these things or experience to something similar. And why am I telling you this story? Not to bore you, but the thing is, I was struck by the word or shepherd, or the shepherds in our story today. So this week, I made some research about shepherding in the Bible, especially in the biblical times. I found out that shepherding and also farming used to be one occupation. Then what happened when shepherding becomes so complicated and gets really, really busy? They separated the two. And also I learned that shepherds only intended for single male for some reasons, because shepherds usually go away for a few months or time away from their family to take care of the sheep. And also I found out that shepherds are getting paid. Farmers usually don't, but shepherds is getting paid because they are working for some families. So they look at shepherding higher than farming during the time, but we don't see that anymore. Thank goodness. Why am I telling you this also? Because shepherding becomes an image in our Christian faith. Who is our good shepherd? Jesus. It makes sense because we are the flock. Jesus is our shepherd who takes care of us. And also, I've been reflecting and thinking and praying about this. How can we relate shepherding to Mary? I pray and reflect that Mary guarded Jesus from the time of conception till birth. The Christmas story, yes, there's a subtle beauty about it. But as I said before, Christmas story is not perfect. There were chaos involved. They were running away from people to protect Jesus' life. And makes sense for Mary as we're celebrating the Solemnity of Mary today. Mary guarded Jesus. And when Jesus grew up, Mary guarded Jesus' faith. And for us today to think about this, maybe to reflect, and we heard in our gospel story that Mary pondered. The word pondered is powerful. It's about reflecting, being contemplative. It means that I will take everything from God and think and reflect about it and live every day about this grace. Mary pondered the experience by herself, alone with God. Same thing with shepherds. They were alone most of the time. And I learned also, being here, what hinders our life as a contemplative, what hinders our life being reflective. You know what I'm learning? I learned this also from my readings. When we start judging ourselves and other people the way they pray. When we start judging, contemplation stops. I think what we can learn from this is this year, instead of thinking about any resolutions this year or this new year, is to be reflective and less reactive. I will repeat that. Be more reflective and less reactive. Because when we start reflecting, we live a contemplative life. We start thinking and stop, and then action afterwards. And this is what I've been praying for this new year. Hopefully, we can do that ourselves. And also, the second point I want to bring up is Mary is a woman of faith. We look at our faith as Christians. How do we take care of our own faith? Mary guarded Jesus. Maybe this year we can guard our faith in prayer and also guard our faith with relationship with one another. Because if we do so, we reflect on our faith and guard it by prayer and relationship with others, everything follows. We love more. We forgive more. We be kind to one another more and be kind to ourselves and to our God. What I can say is the prayer that's being used today in our first reading. And I have this parent talk to me over the holidays, and he uses this prayer every time his kids go out of the door. And actually, we read it today. And this will be my prayer for you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. You might not memorize this, but you can always Google this prayer. The first reading of today. Maybe for us today, young and old, middle age, men, women, children, whoever you are, guest or part of our parish, maybe we can use this prayer for us to move our faith to do something more. And I learned this year also. Don't worry about resolutions. Worry about relationship. Because relationship lasts forever. Resolutions last only for a day, and we'll forget about it. But relationship, well, it's hard, but it is worth it. As I said, whoever you are and wherever you are in your life, let God shine upon you. And one point, I'm learning about this. I came here at Holy Family 6 months ago, and part of my ministry is to go to wakes and funeral. And during wakes, they ask you, Father, can you do the rosary? I have a confession to make. I did not know how to pray the rosary until I moved here. No judgment. I just told you about judgment. I learned something new this year, how to pray the rosary. I never prayed it. I prayed Hail Mary, because one Hail Mary for me is enough. To add more, but I learned this. People get comfort with praying the rosary. It's a repetitious. But also,